In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create your own basic bodice pattern. Here are the tools you will need. I'll be working with these measurements. So let's start by drawing the rectangle. The width of your rectangle is half of your hip measurement plus 2 inches allowance. However, let me point out that you can either use your hip or your bust measurement to determine the width. It depends on which one is bigger, right? But in this case, I made use of my hip measurement plus 2 inches. Always leave 1 inch space at the starting point. That's at the top of your paper. You leave 1 inch space and then you connect together. So make sure to mark your half of your hip measurement plus 2 inches allowance all the way and connect the straight line like so. I apologize at this point. I didn't realize my video had paused. So what I did here is to divide the pattern into 2 sections to separate the center back from the center front. So mark the bust level. My bust level measurement is 10.5 inches. So you mark it from the starting point. So here you mark the front waist length. So you also mark it from the starting point. And then you connect the dots like so to form the vertical measurement. So from the front waist length, mark the waist to hip measurement. And then you connect it like so. So let's name this bust line. Let's label it the bust line, the waistline, and then the hip line. At the center back, mark the back waist length from the starting point. The back waist length is 15.5. You mark it and then you connect the lines. So from the back waist length, you take your waist to hip measurement. My waist to hip measurement is 8 inches. And then you take it and then you connect it. Label it as well, the waistline at the back and then the hip line at the back. So starting with the back bodice, neck width is neck measurement divided by 5. Mine is 3. So you mark it 3 inches width. For the depth, you use 1 inch. So connect the rectangle. And you make use of the curve part of your pattern master to draw a curve along the neckline. So take your shoulder measurement and divide it by 2. Mine is 15 divided by 2, that's 7.5. So you mark 7.5 like so. Now to determine the slant of your shoulder, you take your shoulder measurement and divide it by 10. So mine is 15 divided by 10 is 1.5. So I'll be slanting my shoulder by 1.5. So you connect the neck point to the shoulder point, like so. So in order to get the depth of your armhole, take your armhole, divide it by 2. So my armhole measurement is 16, divided by 2 is 8. So here you connect your shoulder point to the armhole line. So here I want to draw out this armhole line. So what you do is to take the measurement from the starting point to the armhole depth, and then you measure that across. So what I have here is 9.5. Take the measurement and connect it like so. Here, get the midpoint. The midpoint here is 4 inches. And you go in by half an inch. So this would enable you to curve from the shoulder point up to the armhole. So at this point, take your bust measurement divided by 4 plus 0.5 ease allowance. But this ease is optional if you want a more fitted body. Just use your exact measurement. So connect this point to the shoulder point, like so. Make sure to touch the point when you're connecting. So let's take the bust span measurement. You divide your bust span by 2. Mine is 8 divided by 2. That's going to give me 4 inches. And then you connect the straight line. Then my dart intake at the back is half inch on both sides. Half inch on this side, then half inch on the other side. And then you connect this to the hip line, like so. So to connect to the top line, you come down by 1 inch from the armhole line. And then you connect it back like so. In order to eliminate bulging at the zip area, so I take out half inches on the back waist length. I go in by half inches and then I connect it back to my neck point and to the hip line. So I take in my waist measurement from the straight line, the initial straight line. I take in my waist measurement plus my half inch seam allowance and then 1 inch dart intake that we took out. It is important to add it back to your waist measurement. Then on the hip line, you take your hip measurement divided by 4 plus 0.5 ease. Connect it to the armhole and then make use of this curved part of your pattern master to connect to the hip line. Moving on to the front bodice, we're going to start by taking the neck width, which is the same thing as the back. Measure the neck depth as well. And connect this point. You want to make a curve and connect it like so. Take your time. So to get the shoulder, you use your shoulder measurement divided by 2. Mine is 15, divided by 2 is 7.5. So you want to take that 7.5. Now for the shoulder slant, for the front, I make use of my shoulder divided by 10 plus 0.5 inch. So my shoulder divided by 10 is 1.5 plus 0.5, that makes it 2 inches. So the shoulder slant of the front, so here we slant by 2, and then you want to connect your neck point to your shoulder point, like so. So extend the armhole line at the back to the front. Join the point of the shoulder. Now you want to get the midpoint, just like what we did at the back. The midpoint here, just fold your tape into 2, or you divide the measurement by 2, and then you get your midpoint. At this point, I will go in by 1 inches. Instead, the front, you go in by 1 inches, and then you connect it. So you want to take your bust measurement divided by 4 plus 0.5 inch ease, which is optional. So connect these 3 points together. Make sure the points are touching each other when connecting. So here you take your waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inches dart intake plus 0.5 ease allowance. On your hip line, do the same thing. 40 divided by 4 plus 0.5 ease allowance. Connect this point. Use the curved part of your master pattern to connect the hip to the waist. Here you will take your bust span measurement, which is 8 divided by 2. That is 4 inches. So you take it all the way so your line can be perfectly straight, and then you connect the points. And now you want to take your dart intake, which is half inches on both sides. And on your bust line, you come down by 1 inches. So this is where you're going to connect it back to the waist. So take your time, and then you connect it back to the hip line. So here we are going to take our bust darts. So your bust dart is the difference between your front waist length and your back waist length. So that's a difference of 2 inches. So from your bust line, mark 2 inches, and then mark 1 inches away from the bust point before you connect it together. So now you want to get the midpoint and connect the line back. So here we are going to be blending this line. So here I'm just going to be folding this as though it is being sewn together, because that's just how you're going to sew it when you want to join the pieces together. So I'll be using my tracing wheel just to straighten that line and connect it back to the armhole. So the process we're doing here is called truing. So I can see the dotted lines done with my tracing wheel. So once you do that, you just use your pen tool to draw it out. So you can see the protrusion on the bust area. That's exactly how it's going to look. So I'll just make use of my marker pen to be sure that you can see the lines that I drew. So this is exactly how you're going to cut it out on your pattern. So this is what our pattern looks like. I'll be adding 1/2 inches seam allowance round the pattern, just the way I'm doing it. I also added it at the bottom, the armhole, the shoulder line, and then the neckline. So this 1/2 inch is what I sew. So here I want to take the zip allowance. I make use of 1 inches for the zip allowance. So I will just extend it by 1 inches. I did not take it from the straight line. I took it from the 1/2 inches depth. And then you connect the points to your hip line and to the neck. So here is the zip allowance, and this is what your pattern should look like by the time you're done drafting. So here I already cut out the pattern, and this is the first place you will sew the bust dart. You can see how aligned the side is. And now we have come to the end of this tutorial. If you learned a thing or two, kindly give us a thumbs up, share with someone who might need to watch this, and subscribe so you'll be the first to see our new uploaded video. Thank you for watching. Half inches sewing allowance has been handed round the pattern, so you can cut this directly on your fabric. Just make sure to sew 1/2 inches when you want to sew. So now we have come to the end of this tutorial. I hope you found this very useful. If you find it useful, so now we have come to the end of this tutorial. Subscribe to our channel. I hope this tutorial makes sense to you. Leave a comment. If you find this video very helpful, thank you for watching. Do well to click the like button and stay subscribed to our channel. Please feel free to ask questions if you need additional clarification. Go ahead and check my other video on how to make a trouser pattern. Thank you for watching.